Hi everyone, we're the Wildlife Conservation Hub from the Teens Dream Collab, and we're really happy to present Tendai Gumbo and Charles Summerfield from Rhino Savers. So just a small introduction of our speakers today. Charles Summerfield has been a great role model for us, helping us understand how conservation happens on the ground, and we're so happy to be hearing from him today. He is a musician, conservationist, and the Rhino Savers founder. His mission is to unite the fight through collaborations and give a voice to the voiceless. He is very involved in raising awareness on the plight of our environment and all living creatures. Tendai Gumbo Wilkinson works within Rhino Savers as the project facilitator. She is an educator and artist whose passion is to inspire and connect artists of all ages globally to use art to connect and heal. Tendai is also the founding mentor of the Wildlife Conservation Hub that started this initiative with me. She has been incredible in guiding us through different projects and facilitating collaborations with other artists and teens interested in wildlife conservation.
Hello, thank you. My name is Tendai Gumbo, as she said. I'm an artist and educator. My real passion is to share. You know, we live in this environment together with our wildlife. We are also becoming quite an endangered species ourselves, and if we do not change our attitudes and our culture in different parts of the world, you know, we will all be in a bit of a mess. So what is it that I would suggest or inspire people to do? Be that change. Teach by example. The things that you do in your house can make all the difference. Recycling, plastic is a huge problem. Jasmine from Ocean knows all about this and tries to inspire others to take care of the waters. Our marine life, our life on land, it is all part of us and we are responsible of taking care of it. We've been making a right mess. Pollution is a problem, the Amazon is burning, and nobody seems to care. This year, again, the Amazon was raging, killing a lot of wildlife and also the indigenous people who have a lot of wealth of knowledge about medicinal plants and the environment. And many species are now also extinct because of these fires that don't stop. Poaching, still carrying on. The poachers aren't sleeping. The animals are dying. Water, polluting it. Half the world has no access to clean water. War is still raging on. Children don't have food, and crises are everywhere surrounding us. What do we do about it? At the Wildlife Conservation, I hope to be here to inspire children to use everything that they have within them to take hold of the situation. Adults sit around and they talk and they make plans and they make rules that don't get followed. Wildlife trade will still go on. Just because it's banned doesn't mean it'll stop. There's the zoonotic diseases that are affecting us all, and some will come up again, and it'll just get worse if we don't put a stop to this. As an educator, it has been my duty to inform the children about everything that is going on and pass on the baton to them to make solutions. Mr. Charles Summerfield and I started a program a few years ago where I introduced him into the classroom and children asked questions about the poaching crisis in Africa. They were very well-informed times, and a child once came up and said, "But Miss Tendai, how are we going to help our art? How is it going to save the animals?" Good question. Do you realize that after years of connecting with different classes all around the classroom, our program is now part of the curriculum in Ecuador and other international schools. Now, it is a must that the children learn about the environment and how to take care of it and the little things that they can do. I'm going to pass it on to now Mr. Charles Summerfield, who's going to give you some information about the actual situation on the ground in Africa. Mr. Charles Summerfield.
Wow, all I got to do is thumbs up, because if everybody that we speak to can leave with that much inspiration and that much motivation, then whoever you're all talking to, we will reach a lot more people. Tendai basically said everything that needs to be said within reason. We all have a part to play here, no matter where we are, no matter what part of life or social sphere we live in. The pandemics that have gone around the globe will continue to go around the globe, get worse or better. I think what it's taught us is that it doesn't matter where we are, who we are, black or white, yellow, brown, green, purple, rich, poor, we can all get affected, and we are all at risk of becoming extinct. And maybe for once in our lives, humankind can feel what an Indo-Chinese tiger must have felt like before it became extinct this year. And maybe it could have felt the same for a Spitz macaw, who no longer exist and were wiped out by the end of 2019. They, like the human tragedies from COVID, are becoming extinct. And so it's our job and our duty, no matter where we are, to take a stand and change what we do. And it's not just about poaching, as we've seen. It's not just about stopping wildlife trade. It's about taking care of water. It's about taking care of pollution. It's about reducing our own carbon footprints. All of these things, if we can actively inspire the people around us, and if one person can inspire another 50 people, eventually the majority of the world will start to move towards climate change in a positive manner. If we look at the leaders of some of the more enlightened and educated countries, you will see that they have taken an extremely rapid path to try and alter footprints and climate change. And as educators, we need to educate the children who are the future leaders on climate change, water pollution. Water is one of our most distinctly vital products. Natural, fresh drinking water is almost obsolete. And the control of water is becoming absolutely disgusting. If you look at Australia, they are having water wars. People are going out of business and selling cow and sheep farms because they have no more water. I'm not justifying cows or farming cows, because if you start looking at all of these environmental ongoings, cows are one of the most major. It takes 100,000 liters of water to get a kg of steak onto your plate. So when you start looking at all of the bigger pictures, one has to incorporate everybody, and it's our job to educate, to facilitate, to create awareness, and to make a change. And so my inspiration to all of you that are sitting here is that all of you have a way to communicate with the people around you in your hub or your bubble, as they like to call it now. They need to be socially motivated. As Tendai was saying, the stats are not different, they're worse. If you think the poachers have stopped, they have not stopped. The incursions on the borderlines between the Kruger and all over Africa have only increased because there's now nobody stopping them. There are very few donors internationally and non-governmental organizations or NPOs that are getting access into the countries now because of lockdowns. So all it is becoming a bigger free-for-all for the poaching syndicates and a worse time for the animals. Yet, on a positive side, carbon footprints of most of the population have dropped around the globe because not so many people are using stupid things like cars. And when we can start to give people better options, more environmentally friendly options, then we can start to find a world that we can live in when I'm going to be dead before any of you are, oh God willing, by age and nothing else, or by natural causes. So it's your lives that are going to be affected more than mine. And ultimately, it's our duty and our job to educate from where we are. And we can make a difference. We can change it. For example, the mask selling campaign. That's just one little project that we can get involved in with many. And when you raise the money and you actually donate money, for example, let's say you want to help the baby rhinos. Let's say, I'm being figurative. Let's say you raise $10,000 so we can help baby rhinos and pangolins. When you donate that money to the existing foundations that have been doing this job for decades, that is what your children and that is what your students and that is what you are achieving, stuck out somewhere in goodness knows where, but far away from where the actual event is taking place. You have succeeded in getting across the barrier of the border and you have helped on the ground. And it doesn't matter what sphere, of conservation or the environment you wish to get involved in. It's all necessary, whether it's water, land, sea, trees, oxygen, it's all under threat. And we as enlightened people, all of us sitting here, for example, have a way to reach people that are not on the ground. I can pick up the phone and phone an anti-poaching unit that's on the ground in the Kruger and say, what are the 10 things you need right now? What's the point if I can't get them to you? I can pick up the phone now to the biggest pangolin foundation in the world, the Tiki Highwood Foundation. I have the founder on speed dial. She's my friend. I've known her all my life. And say, Lisa, what can I do to help you? And unless I have millions or hundreds of thousands or anything to assist those people, all I can do is tell the world what is going on. So it is my job to tell the world what's going on, to create ideas that can raise funds to facilitate and help those foundations. And Tendai has been out there with me to see with her own eyes. She has seen the people we are helping. She has been in the situations that we have been in. And she knows what it feels like when you can go and even give a picture made by one of your kids to one of the people and say, yeah, they drew this for you. I mean, that's worth more than money, that feeling. You know, when that child sees that picture with that ranger or with that foundation, they don't say, oh, Miss Tendai, what does this do to help save it? They go like, wow, how can I do more? And that's where we're at now. The world is so inundated with COVID that we are all sitting stuck at home. So stuck at home, let's come up with ideas to raise money, to raise funds, to raise awareness, and to create a change in our bubble, because that's how we start. We have to reduce our footprint, reduce our water consumption, say no to plastic, say no to non-environmentally friendly products. If we don't start that, who's going to?
Thank you,
That's
Mr. Paul. Thank you so much. I would actually like to open it up to Jasmine, who is in Mexico, and if she would have just 1 or 2 words of what she sees the Wildlife Conservation Hub doing to support her projects, or her raising awareness, or anything she would like to say. Jasmine, at this moment, I would love you to say anything you would like.
Unmute her then.
Okay, cheers. There you go. Can you speak?
Yes.
Thank you.
I think this hub has made it easier for people to know what is happening in the countries they haven't been, with the animals that we just see in television and the internet, that we are not aware what's going on with them. In my experience, for example, I didn't knew what was happening to the coral reefs. I knew there was this bleaching, but I didn't know why is happening. So after investigating and realizing how my actions affect them, I was able to create something for them to help them. So I think this hub is making a lot of people realize what is going on around the world, not just in our bubble, in our communities, but also in other countries that are far away. And that's something really important for us, because only by knowing we can create the change we want to see. So it's been great.
Thank you, Jasmine. That's really, those are the words that everybody needs to hear. And I think we can wrap up by saying, you know, inspiration leads to action. With everybody's collaboration, we can do something. Everybody has something to give. For example, Maria Alonso is a wonderful organizer and mentor. Jasmine, I so enjoyed listening and speaking to your podcasts alongside with Mr. Charles and sharing our projects. Antika, without you, we would not be sitting here. We wouldn't be sitting here without your organization, your tireless work, your commitment. Mr. Charles Summerfield and Woshin and I of Rhino Savers would like to pass on a torch to you. Everything that we speak about, please make sure you inspire other youth to know they can do something. It's not also just about thinking about the big picture and getting overwhelmed with money and numbers. it is the one thing that you and your family and who can inspire somebody to do something. You will be amazed at what one little word or message or action can do. Think about all the beach cleanups. If everybody gives themselves a little piece of action to do around there, act locally, think globally. And I think that that is the one thing that I would really, really inspire and encourage everybody to do. Do what you can in your immediate environment. We're all in a very close-up space. But think and act globally. Here we are in all different parts of the world, from Spain and Mexico and South Africa and Uruguay. We're all from different places, but we do have that one mission. And that one mission is to make a change about this terrible crisis our environment is in, alongside with our wildlife and ourselves. So here, I think I can just cut off and say thank you to everybody who's listening. And please contact the Global Collab and Rhino Savers and Woshin if you have any ideas or you would like to share or get involved with us. Thank you.
And I think maybe you could unmute everybody, and maybe if everyone would like to ask any questions or say anything, I see Maria's hand is there, then at least everyone can say something. And
yes, I think she's unmuted. I think she's unmuted. I think she.
Yeah, but unmute everybody so that they can all ask, and one at a time.
I'm trying. I think everybody's okay here. There we go.
I just wanted to also introduce you to Sarah, because she's been part of the hub lately, and you know how we've been doing the social media campaigns weekly. She started her own, which is like Wednesday's Words of Wisdom, and we told her to listen to the Earth Talk podcast that Jasmine has done, and she probably got a bunch of quotes from here because you guys were really inspiring. But yeah, and Augusta also collaborated with us. She did some beautiful art for I think it was either the October 3rd celebration or the Sustainable Goals video, but she's been amazing collaborating with us on our team. And I was just wondering if you would be okay with opening the floors to questions or maybe just like talking between us.
And most definitely.
And maybe we could ask Augusta to, since she came in late, to just introduce herself. Augusta, if you can unmute.
Hi, unmute Augusta.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Augusta. We can't see you, but that's okay.
I can start.
She's unmuted. She's unmuted.
Yes, asked to start video. I asked her. Here we go.
Yes, my camera is not working, so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry.
We can hear you. You can speak to us.
Yeah, so hi everyone, sorry for entering late. I have some internet issues problem. But hi, my name is Augusta Villalba. I'm from Quito, Ecuador, and I'm part of the Arts Hub, and they have Paris Hispanohablantes. And it's been very inspiring what I can hear what you say.
Thank you. That's so nice, Augusta. How old are you, Augusta?
I am 13.
Yes. And what made you think, what's the interest with the Wildlife Conservation Hub? What made you want to join it?
I think I'm not very involved with that hub, but I think because in the, I don't know how to say, like in the newspaper of my country, I've been like seeing a lot of that issues and problems with the animals, and I think that like I think awareness of that because I love a lot of the animals, and that is so sad that like there are a lot in extinction in that.
And you are in the Arts Hub, you said, Augusta?
Yes.
Do you know what, Augusta? At my school, we have this project where we make art out of different kinds of recyclable items, especially lots of printmaking with styrofoam. You know that material styrofoam that is used for everything and is terrible for the ocean? We make prints out of it. And we actually had an art auction, and the students raised a bunch of money, and now we are going to donate that money for medicine or food to a marine life rescue here in Uruguay. do you know art has a real function? And if you love art, think about the things that you can use to make art. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be the physical thing anymore. You know, you can make it with the recycled things, and then you can share it online. You can make cards, you can make all sorts of things, and it raises awareness. And like I showed you, my kids, they managed to save some money and send it. So being in the arts hub and being at home, try to save as many styrofoam containers as you can and see what you can do. Try it.
You love me, Tendai. I just say something. Welcome to you, Augusta, all the way from Africa. And I think it's amazing that somebody of your enlightened age has joined us. And I want you to tell all your friends about it, and your parents about it, and their friends. And when you show them how to change the world from you, then they can understand and teach their friends. And Tendai and Linda, what I would like to suggest is that on a regular basis, that just remember, Tendai, how we were doing our little Skype lessons to all the schools.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people now, because of lockdown, are caged into their houses, so to speak. So they actually feel like the animals feel when they're locked in cages. And I think it's our job, and would be a good idea on a regular, if not weekly, but at least twice a month, to have a podcast or meeting like this, but not just with, let's say, who are here now are the leaders. Let's have it with the children. Let's get all the children from all of your different areas, wherever you are in the world, to get together, whether we use it, Linda, through this hub as a platform, I don't mind. But I think a regular, because what I'm noticing is every time we get together, people get inspired, people do something, and then we wait again for the next one. But the planet's not waiting, neither are the poachers, neither is the extinction. So let's try and set up a regular timetable schedule where we can give children and leaders an update of what's going on in the ground, and a way of which to assist and what to do, and how they can help where they are.
So Charles, I want to say something here. I love this whole event that you guys all organized, and I'd love to hear from Akita and Sarah too. But Augusta is the new ambassador of our Arts Hub, and she's also very active in our Spanish Hub. And Augusta got her teacher involved with the collab, and her teacher is now working with us, the collab, to get their entire school involved in this. And so, Charles, it gets to exactly what you and others here have said, which is we can use these platforms to empower larger numbers of youth through schools. And we also have a teacher at a university in Shanghai, China, who is working with our former Arts Hub ambassador and mentor, Sophia, who is now in China and has been with us for many years, to try to engage Chinese youth. So
that's our target market, actually, is the Far East, China. You know, if we can get it to China, even on, I understand we have done 300 Chinese children before, but if we can get it on a more regular basis where we're interacting with them and inspiring them, it's great.
Okay, and I have to tell you all that Brianda, who's from Mexico, is joining us right now. And she is our mentor of our Spanish Hub. Brianda, can you introduce yourself? She's joining us, and she's an administrator in Mexico, in Mexico City, but she's responsible for working with many school districts around the state of Mexico to engage youth. Brianda, can you say hi? We just had our little presentation, but we're recording it. And so you can listen to it later, but can you say hi, Brianda?
Unmute her, Tendai.
I'm having a hard time here. Linda, could you unmute her, please? Because she's not showing up in my list.
Here we go, it's okay.
Here we go.
I think I cannot turn on my camera, sorry. Hello, everybody. It's really nice to meet you. I'm Brianda Ramirez. I live in Mexico City, and I've been working with a global collab with the Spanish Hub. And well, it's really nice to meet you all. I think I went a little late today, but
It's okay.
So Brianda, when you get a chance, listen to the recording. I'll send it around. But it's so great that you joined us. And Augusta's here and Maria from your Spanish speaking hub. So they can all, maybe you guys can share what happened in the Spanish speaking hub later. And Jasmine,
yes,
Jasmine is here from Mexico. Jasmine, where in Mexico are you?
In Puebla.
Where?
Puebla.
Puebla.
Mm.
Okay. And we have.
I'm here in Cape Town, so I'm nearly on the tip of the oceans.
And Charles is in Tanzania, right?
No, South
Cape
Africa.
Town, South Africa.
Oh, where in South Africa, Charles?
I'm in Cape Town at the moment.
Okay, that's like my favorite country. I've been there twice.
Cape Town is, I would say, one of the most idyllic. In fact, hold on a second. I'll see if I can let you see outside the window so you can see my office. Hold on a second, folks. Are you ready?
Yes.
Hang on. There is my
There we
front
go.
office.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Can I just make a pitch? There's an amazing movie, Charles, I'm sure you've watched it, called The Octopus Teacher.
Yes, of course.
The Octopus Teacher is about a man who lives off of the South Africa and is trying to save the what is it? The underwater
Marine, he's trying to deal with marine with life under the water.
Yeah.
The kelp forest. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
which is incredible, let me tell you. But it's all, you know, Linda, it's all the same. It's all the same problem, whether it's land or ocean. So this is very, very important to get everybody involved.
Well, and Charles, we have 10 hubs and they work on, one works on climate change, one works on plastic pollution, one works on hunger. You know, they all work and they all collaborate, and our arts hub, Spanish hub support all of them.
I love it. And I think if we can get all the hubs together and we give them a quick pep talk or boost or update.
It used to be about 20 minutes. It used to be just a 20 minutes, and there was most of it was question and answer. I mean, I think Charles might have said 1 or 2, 3 things, but what happened during the question and answer was phenomenal, because do you know what? The answers came from the children. It was the children who suggested, how do we, what about if we sell our art? What about if we make postcards with our art? What about if we make videos with our art? What about? It all came from the children. And that was the most amazing part of these information sessions. One of our sessions in China was full of elementary children, about 300 elementary children. Early in the morning, yes, they all spoke English. And when they were asked, what is poaching? A little kid, first grader. The illegal killing of an animal, first grader, and he knew it. And I'll tell you something, the youth have it. They have the answers, they have everything. All we are here is to cushion, guide, and direct. And that's what's so wonderful about the Global Collab, because it is the teens that initiate all the programs and initiate all the projects. And I think what me and Mr. Rhino Savers and Jasmine are here for, you know, we're trying our best and we're doing what we can, but we're here to any time of the day.
Okay, Tendai.
Yes.
Let's turn it over now to the leaders here, Akita and the teens, and have them take over the rest of the session and let sort of Akita, Sarah, Augusta, Maria, why don't you
one, Linda.
What?
Unmute everybody.
Okay.
So has anybody got questions?
Yeah, so one question I had was, what foundations have you collaborated with in the front line in your work with Rhino Savers, and what were their like missions and actions that they took?
Okay, well, let's talk. I'm very particular about the foundations and the organizations that I do affiliate myself with. And I made sure that the ones that I do affiliate myself with are really, as I would call them, outstanding. So, and how we've helped them, I'm not sure I don't know if it's easy to say in what extent the big picture we helped them, but we did as best we could at the time that we assisted them with whatever it was. So, for example, the Save the African Rhino Foundation is the most amazing foundation that's been in existence for over 3 decades. They really assist more than just rhinos, and it's more than, and believe it or not, they're not even based in Africa, they're based in Australia. Okay, but that particular foundation, the man who's the director, he's a legend. He's an old Australian man, and he runs around, and I've been on the ground with him, and I've been there with him when he goes into the national parks, and when that man drives up the road, the rangers salute him and say, "Hello, Mr. Duncan, thank you for coming." Because every time he comes, he gives boots, he gives food, he makes sure that things that they need can be got to. Whether it's rhinos, elephants, pangolins, they don't mind. So that was one of the foundations I had the privilege and honor of actually working with, and they inspired me more than anything to join this cause. Another great foundation that I've met along the way is the biggest rhino orphanage in this side of South Africa. It's called Care for Wild. I don't know if you've heard about them, but the lady that runs that, she's an ex-police captain. She's an amazing woman. She doesn't take nonsense from anybody. She won't. And all she cares about is protecting and looking after those baby orphans and trying to stop the poaching. Another foundation that we've helped in South Africa is called PitTrack. They're a canine anti-poaching unit. And for example, they have a dog or 2 dogs and a couple of rangers protecting Care for Wild. And they have another unit or 2 units that are out in various gates of the Kruger. And so our involvement with them, the last time I was with them, I was with a foundation called the Anti-Poaching Prevention Academy, which is an Italian-based foundation. And we were down there in South Africa. They came to visit, and they donated some webbings, like the soldiers wear in the bush. They need to put the magazines and the guns and the pieces, and so they went to Beretta, which is a weapons manufacturer in Italy, and they got a whole bunch of those webbings donated to the rangers, which you won't believe how important that is to the guys on the ground. So that's just, and the Tiki Highwood Foundation, who are the biggest pangolin foundation in the world. They are, Lisa Highwood, who's the director and the founder, is the most amazing person I've ever met. Even when I went to Kenya, when they burnt the tusks, the ivory tusks at that big ivory burn, she was there. She goes and she stands in the courts and prosecutes the poachers and makes sure that they don't get off. So those are just a few. I could carry on, but those are just a few of the really amazing foundations that I'm in touch with on a regular basis. And it's really cool to feel that you can help people out there. I'm not a ranger, and it would take me 10 years to train, to pick up a weapon and to learn all these things. But these people are out there, and we need to help them, and you guys can help them. Did I answer your question, Akita?
Yes, for sure. That sounds really inspiring. Did anyone else have any other questions?
Snap. Anybody got any more questions? You're all on mute. Please unmute everyone. Tendai, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Sarah, can you say anything? Just tell me if you can.
Yep, I'm all good.
Perfect. Anybody else? Because I just asked to unmute everybody. Brianda, can you say anything?
She's on mute.
I asked her to unmute. Brianda?
Sure, thank you. It's really interesting. I didn't really get to hear all the presentation, so I cannot have that many questions, but what I just heard is amazing. I I also have a question. I don't know if this was included in the presentation, but how do you become a ranger? Like,
Yeah, that's a heavy question. That's quite a heavy question. Depends on what you want to be a ranger in and what sphere of the world you want to get into, whether it's a marine or land. But in every country around the world, there is a federation or an association of which you would have to join and then study. So, for example, in South Africa, if you wanted to be a ranger, you would first have to learn to get your FIGASA, which is your Field Guides Association certificates. Field guide means that you can, and in order to get that, you have to go and study every single plant, every single animal, learn all their Latin names, learn where they come from, what they do, what goes with what, how goes with who, what you can do, where you can go. Once you've learned all that, then they test you, and you have to be able to go into the bush and tear the bark from here and eat it and pull the string, and you have to learn how, it's called bushcraft. You have to learn how to take an animal if you're starving and you have no food, and how to kill it, to gut it, to skin it, to take out its insides, to learn. These are things, I know it might sound butcherish, but these are survival skills. So before you can become a ranger, you have to become a field guide. Does that make sense to you? And once you become a field guide, then you have got the permission to walk in a big 5 area, which is an area which has dangerous game like lions and elephant. And in order to get that ranger certificate, you'll need to get weapon certificate. And you'd have to get weapons competency. You'll have to be able to learn to shoot a rifle and a handgun. Because if you're going to have to kill a big animal, like an elephant, to protect yourself, you're going to have to shoot it somewhere in the head with a very big gun, like a 404, which is a very big caliber bullet. And I'm not a ranger, so it would take me too long to become a ranger. And yeah, so that, I hope that answers. It will take about 7 years or 4 years to get your field. Not every field guide wants to be a ranger. Some just want to be the driver in the front of a safari a van taking you on holiday. That also needs, or taking you for a walk in the bush, on a bushwalk in the bush. You cannot go into big game territory or into any wild national parks without a trained national park ranger. I think there are 2 or 3 places on this planet that you may. Zimbabwe, funny enough, is one of the only places in the world. There is a place there called Mana Pools. And in Mana Pools, it is one of the only national parks where you may get out your car and walk around. What happens to you when you do that is at your entire own risk, and people have died because buffaloes have speared them and elephants have turned them into strawberry jam, which is what elephants do when they come across humans and are very scared. If an elephant goes like this, we become strawberry jam. That's the nicest way to put that. So yeah, it takes at least 7 years to become a qualified ranger. But that doesn't mean we can't help, or we can't learn, or we can't participate. Does that answer your question?
Brianda, did that make sense to you? Because do you know what? Being a ranger, it takes a lot of real guts, hey? There is a group in Zimbabwe called Vakashinga. Okay, they are women and they're vegan rangers, and the government loves them because do you know what? They not only protect the wildlife, they walk, they talk. They don't eat meat, but they will protect the lion eaters and the rest of it. Okay, so amazing people. It's all a lot of blood and gore, but animals eat animals, and you have to be prepared to know you can be in front of that. But also you can be a vegan and love and protect the animal.
Yes, vegans rule, dude. Vegans rule. But go study and don't stop. If you want to be a ranger, start now. It's fine. You don't have to be on the ground. A lot of it takes a lot of bookwork, knowing your plants and knowing your animals. So you can learn all that sitting behind your desk, all the Latin names. Yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody else that I can unmute who has a question? I'm just asking if anybody else would like to speak out of the teens. Rianda, I loved your question. Ankita, my dear, do you have anything else you'd like to say or direction you'd like us to go? The floor is to you.
I think Akita might be muted, but I have a question. Is it, Akita, did you want to say something or should I ask it?
No, go ahead.
Go for it. Go for it.
So I was just wondering, as Maria briefly mentioned, I'm working on the Words of Wisdom Wednesday media campaign on Instagram. And so I was wondering if you guys had any resources or organizations or podcasts or anything that we could learn more about wildlife conservation through, that maybe I could get some quotes from, but also just learn more about wildlife conservation from.
Sure, I think whatever you'd like to learn or whatever kind of information you'd like to get involved in, you can set up with us and we can actually make that podcast for you live. I think that's more inspirational than getting outdated, backdated material. You can go onto our websites and our Instagrams and pick up whatever you like, whatever posts you like from the past. But extinction is a very ongoing thing. And the education and evolution of what we need to do is ever changing. I mean, if you think about it, when I started my quest, there was Elon Musk hadn't put his spaceship up in Mars yet. So everything's changing faster than we can imagine. So instead of us talking about old things, if you need some updated information or you want some podcasts to go, just set it up with Miss Tendai and would gladly talk to your people online, no problem. Does that answer your question? Okay, cool beans.
Anybody else?
I actually wanted to ask about the curriculum that you implemented in Ecuador. I thought that was really interesting, and I was wondering if you could go a little more into what's included.
Okay, so this is how it went. We first started off just making small studio pieces and Mr. Summerfield talking to the children and then the children asking questions. But as time went on, I went to South American Arts Conference. And that's where a lot of schools, Latin American schools, had an art conference. And then there were other art teachers. And Mr. Summerfield and I were having one of our workshops, and he presented to a lot of Latin American schools at that conference. And the teachers became very interested to see what was going on. And so from there, those Latin American teachers had Mr. Summerfield join the classroom, educate and ask for questions. And so it became very much, it evolved and changed and went all over Latin America. But then we got into contact with a very interesting man in New York called Mr. Tim Kelly, who had something called the Puzzle Piece Project. And his project was about making art and connecting with different organizations all over, schools, other communities. And so we started using the format of the puzzle piece, because the puzzle piece is such a visually represents connection. And so it grew like that. And so that is what it is. Now in Ecuador, Quito, at the American school there, in the art department, a few years ago, a teacher phoned me and said, listen, I have this in my curriculum. I'm supposed to contact Mr. Rhino Savers and set up a class. What is this? And so the program went on many years after we had the session. And so this is what I think would be really great. If everybody who's involved, not set up their own curriculum, but make something that works for them and their communities. Do you know what I mean? Because we're all from different backgrounds. And if you can connect with people who are like-minded and your own age groups, your peers, your family, your colleagues, you can implement things that can continue and not end in the moment. Being in the curriculum there means it went on years after. And if you implement things that can be even in, how can I say, groups, even in old age homes. Youth can visit old age homes and have games and stories and educate each other and do things together. It can be at any age, kindergarten to old. And that's what I really keep on saying, is that the youth, it's up to you. And you are the ones who can continue to start these programs, initiate these programs, research these programs, inspire everybody else. It's all up to you. Okay, so that's actually what happened in Ecuador. Interesting question, Maria. Anybody else, guys? Sarah, did you manage to say everything you wanted to say? Did I manage to unmute you? Sarah, do you have anything? Good. And Jasmine, do you have anything? And Brianda and anybody else? I'm leaving it open up to everybody else because I think we've covered everything we possibly can today. Linda, are you still there? Would you like to round off? Oh, Maria, maybe you'd like to round off, and Tika, anybody, if you just want to finish off.
Sure, I can do it. Well, just again, say thanks to all of you for attending today and for Tendai and Charles for your amazing presentations. And unless anyone has any last minute comments or questions, then I think this can conclude the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ciao, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye.